As I'm sitting by the firelight and turning back the years, I can hear my mother singing in the morning as she scrubbed our shining faces and then packed us off to school. All too soon those days were over without warning. So sing me the songs of our gold and silver days, days filled with innocence and light. Not a penny to our name, we were happy just the same in our gold and silver days. In the parlor on a Friday night, my father took the floor. I can hear us join together in the chorus, singing just a song of twilight and the moon behind the hill. Now those voices, they are silent, gone before us. So sing me the song of our gold and silver days, days filled with innocence and light. Not a penny to our name, we were happy just the same in our gold and silver days. We gathered at the daisy field on Sunday afternoons. Then we danced to Johnny Quigley and the Royal. Through the years we all were scattered, but those friends were good and true, always there when they were needed, always loyal. So sing me the songs of our gold and silver days, days filled with innocence and light. Not a penny to our name, we were happy just the same in our gold and silver days. In our gold and silver days.
He's out there. He's out there.
You know Dano, yes, Dano.
And the sleighing in the winter.
Sleighing in
You
the
couldn't forget that.
Right down onto the feet.
Right down is right.
Through the gate.
That's right.
You'd have made an odd cave, dug an odd cave in the back street, would you?
Oh, the Easter.
Oh, aye.
or
Easter houses.
Easter houses.
Surely. That was a big thing. They used to light a fire and somebody would come and put a sod in the chimney.
That's right. Smoky out of it.
Everybody out.
But it was all good, clean fun there.
It was.
wasn't it?
Oh, it was.
From that day, we had a whole clique that time then. You would head for Ned's Point at 9 o'clock in the morning. And you run home and you got a slice of bread and jam and
Piece in your hand.
a piece in your hand, and away you went back to Ned's Point again. And you swam from there to dark. That was your full summer holiday.
That was it.
Right, Jackie, you have in your possession there a book.
It's just an old book from Swan's Mill. who supplied the electricity to the town, was known as the Buncrana Electric Supply Company. And this is just for the 1st of January 1952. And it's the people who made prepayments to link into the electricity. And this is a list of the houses and the amount of money that was paid.
Read out a few names there.
Number 1, Castle Park, was Harry McDade. And then you had Connolly's and Bradley's, only Bradley's, and McLaughlin's, the Lough, and Maloney's, Henderson's, Barney Bradley's, Webb's, McGee's, Friel's, Gallagher's, Klein's, Deehan, and then Doherty's, that's Danny Doherty's, and Joe Bradley, and then there's a few different names in there included from other areas of the town who linked in at the same time. You have Forsha's and McGowan, and then it goes on. You have Davis, that would be Andy Davis, Hart, Hughie Doherty, that would be, young Jerry Doherty's father, Johnny McFadden, Mickey Doherty, Dobbs, Sheridan, Crawfords, Murphy, Spokes, Grant, Clinton. There's a jail down here, I'm not sure if that's Liam's house. Liam McLaughlin's there, I'm not just sure. And then there's Armour's, Deeney's, Ruddens, Bradley's, Cloherty, Duffy's, John James the rentman, and John Doherty, Fullerton's, Fletcher's. Then there was Caldwell's who moved out, and then Sweeney's, I think, who moved in at a later date. That's just basically it. But this is all the people in the town who were linking in, who made prepayments to
ESB.
for the electricity.
Now, you'd know a lot of them, Jackie, would you?
I would know a few of them. This was the time they were looking for the boys' new school,
Right.
and that the first fella here is Mickey McLaughlin, Pot. That's Seamus Bradley, only. That's Patrick Grant. That's Jackie Henderson.
Yourself?
And myself is right. Paddy McGee. And they're two daily boys that came from Dublin. They used to come every year on holidays to Sullivan's house in St.Egney
Remember,
Terrace.
yeah.
And that's Kevin Henderson, Francis Crawford, Nicky Huggins. So that must have been before the Hugginses went away to England. I think they went away in 1959. That's Danny Henderson. I'm not sure now. I think that's John Armour. Not just sure. That's Liam Rudden, Jimmy Bradley, Wadge,
Yes, you know Jimmy looking out there right now.
and Georgie Sweeney. And that's Doherty, Castle Park, Nicholas Maloney. I think that's one of the Grants, Castle Park. Bonsies, John McFadden. That's one of the Crawfords. And that's Peter Bradley, God rest him. Brendan Friel. I just can't think who that is now. It's not too clear.
That's a good photograph,
That's
isn't it?
Big Charlie Doherty. That's who that is. Just couldn't think of the first name. So that's the story behind that. That was taken at the back of the oratory.
Hello, here we are in Castle Park today on the 2nd of August in the year 2005, and we're here 2 hours before the Mass is due to start. The Mass is starting at 6 o'clock and we're going on then to the gateway. And it's a big occasion for the people of Castle Park. I myself was born in Castle Park in 1949, which is 55 years ago. And at the time Castle Park was built, it was a great asset to the people. There was 48 houses. Everyone was glad to get a house at the time. And the thing about it is that when everybody got a house, generally everybody came in and it was like the Musketeers, it was all for one and one for all. They worked together, they prayed together. It was a time when people did pray, when everyone prayed the rosary, everyone went to Mass. And if one could help one another, that's the way it was done. A lot of people would have gone to the hill for their turf. And it was a great time. It was pre-television times and pre a lot of other things. And most of the fun and entertainment was homemade and self-made. There was the hoops, there was the marbles, there was the hopscotch, there was the tig, there was cut the cabbage, there was swimming at Ned's Point, there was swimming down at the pier, there was fishing crabs, there was going to the battery to look for nuts, slow wine, and all the different cowboys and Indians, and we could go on and on and on. And that's how it was then, and things were very cheap then. You know, you could, a pound would go a long way. I know in 1966 the wage was around £5, and that type of money, 66, 67, maybe £5-6 for the 40 hours. That would be somebody in their teens. But at the same time, that £5 or £6, a leather coat cost £4.10 shillings. That is in pounds, shillings and pence days. There's 240 pennies in the pound then. Of course, there's no pounds now at all, we're in euros and cents. But £4.10 shillings, and if you got £6, you still had £1.50 left. To give an idea how things were, or £1.10 shillings, I should say, to give an idea how things were, if you went to the dance, it was 5 shillings to get into Ballyliffin. A lift in the car was 5 shillings, that was 10 shillings. If you took a drink, you could probably have a drink, enough that was acceptable, was seen as an acceptable amount for 5 shillings. So you could have still have 5 shillings left. If you met a girl, you go for a cup of tea and a sandwich, and you could, after going leaving with £1, and you'd have a good enough night and a good night's fun, and innocent fun, and you would have, still have money home with you. And that's the way it was for £1 note at the time. The girls are here making a rush hat, something that I don't think that I haven't seen in 35 years anyway. And it's good to see that somebody remembers how to do it. And Patricia says it's not very well done, but it's the best that's going at the moment anyway. How you doing, Millie? Another memory of Millie's is the 6 boys come over the road with the same jumpers on them. Do you remember that, Millie? All the one colour. 3 times a year. And they'd come over, you know, our house was above. And you see the boys all coming, and Andy and Faye there, and all the same jumper. It was lovely. Something you wouldn't see now. Yeah, even you had all the boys, they wouldn't go out in the same thing now. But Mammy still had to say then.
Remember you came one day and he went to the battery and he got a stitch in the whole day.
The whole thing came out.
He came home like with a cardigan instead of a jumper.
Yeah. Did you knit them all yourself, Ms. McLaughlin?
I knit them.
Hand knit. You sit down, if you're knitting one, you knit the 6. Was there 6 in it?
4 for a long time.
Ah, right.
Then I got 2 extra.
2 wee lit ones. Hey, that happens in lots of houses. Hey. Not so much now as then. It happened to you twice. It's not happening as much as it used to, you know. There's a lady here saying it still happens. How's it going, Patricia? But it was lovely. It was lovely to see everybody coming across the road all dressed the same.
A friend of mine came down from home one day to a football match, and they came out here to visit me.
Yes.
And they weren't sure where I lived.
Yes.
So they asked where Miss McLaughlin lived.
Very good. That'll help.
Denise Horgan now, Denise Horgan, Hampson now.
Yes.
She said, oh, way over the far side.
She was 2 doors from me.
And then your man, Jim Rogers, said, who lives in that house on there? I said, that's not McLaughlin, that's Millie's. Is that funny?
Mrs. Crawford.
Yeah. But I would still say, if I met your mother, say hello, Mrs. Fletcher. Or Mrs. Sheridan. I would never have called her Maggie or Mrs. Murphy Rose or anything.
That's just how you were brought up, Francis.
That's the way it was.
6 of us, we were all the way around the shore.
It was all part of.
The next thing we'd be sitting at the door with a big basket of fruit from Mr. Crawford. he used to always leave it down and would say, who left that? Mr. Crawford left it down.
funny, yeah.
All the time. They were great neighbours. Oh, they were great. Oh,
Great memories for Castle
don't think any.
And as young at heart, honestly, I used to be over at Millie's. Remember Millie?
I know.
Probably 10, 11 over playing.
Yeah,
They all came
yeah.
over
With
to
the
Millie.
Hendersons, my cousins were
Uh-huh.
playing with Millie.
That's right.
And John.
I could cry when I think of the
I
memories,
know
when I think
it,
of all
I
the
know
people.
it.
We might talk to you later on,
Thanks
sure.
a
Might see you
lot,
later
Paul,
on.
definitely.
Okay. Number 28, Castle Park. Paddy and Mammy and Daddy was Joseph Murphy and Rose Murphy, and your daddy's a Belfast man, wasn't he?
Lisburn.
Lisburn. Aye. And do you know how he come to be about here? But he came to work in the shop, I think, at the start, didn't he?
Barney Clerks.
Came to work in Barney Clark's. Very good.
What do you call it? Maybe Mickey Carey used to the shop.
Aye, right opposite the
See
picture.
Jimmy Fullerton's.
Aye, there.
Reynolds.
Aye, where the amusements is now. He came to work there from Lisburn. And your mammy was Rose Grant from
Halley.
the Halley, aye. And the Still Grants up there. Barney's family.
Aye, QA and
Hugh and them. Then
Danny.
you had Joe Grant was a brother, he lived up at Ludden.
he's dead.
And Mary King was a sister of your mother.
They're all dead.
Aye, and then you Mrs. Devlin up in the Maris. They're all gone now.
All gone.
Might see you later on before
Ah.
we go, or during the mass or after
Ah,
mass.
sure, see you after it.
Thanks, Paddy. Now, all right.
All right, Bridget.
Thank you.
Or Francis.
Okay.
Thank you.
Patricia.
Listen, formal. Listen, formal. Hello, Ina.
Hello.
You're making a
St. Bridget's Cross.
St. Bridget's Cross. And all the girls are doing a rush hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you learn that where you're from, up by Carrigan's, or did you?
This will be a blue one, St. Bridget's Cross.
Aye. This is a.
blue one, St. Bridget's Cross.
But it seems to be the same as the ones that would have been made when we were young, isn't it?
Yeah, they were always made on the eve of St. Bridget.
Yes.
And the youngest person in the family then, or the person called Bridget, went out, and they brought in the cross and I left them on the step, the front step,
Right.
and then it was believed that Bridget came past that night and blessed the
Bless the cross.
cross.
Never heard that before now.
That's the way. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
one of the ways it was done.
Uh-huh. That's nice.
This will be one of the most usual form
Yes.
of St. Bridget's cross, and perhaps the best remembered.
Right. You notice anybody learn to make them? Never seem to forget how to make them.
Well, I make them every year still, so. See, people hung them above their doors and above their buyer doors
Right.
for to bless,
luck and
to
to bless
good luck. Yeah,
bless
yeah,
the stock and
yeah,
that.
yeah. I send them out to friends in America every year.
Ah, right. That's lovely, isn't it? Keeps up the tradition. Well, I
That's
mind
about
buying an artificial one, and there's a wee pamphlet along with it telling you how to make them, etc. You know.
And you can even download them from the internet to tell you how to
Yeah.
make them.
Very good. Well, I'm behind the times, you see.
Bridget, are you going to look after them?
Oh,
Now, they wouldn't have done this years ago, but we have no wool here, so the elastic bands.
Yeah.
No, I have a very big circumference that I had to do. No hat. Yes.
Hello, Bridget Crawford.
Yes,
How are
that's
you?
me. I'm fine, Francis.
You and others, who are the organisers of the
Oh,
event?
well, Gloria and Una were the courageous people who Gloria Clardy and
Una
Una
Doherty.
Doherty, McCallion. They were the very courageous people
Gloria
who
Clardy
took it
began
on
with.
in the first place. And I think it's all thanks to them, really, because it has been talked about at different times over the years. And nobody ever bit the bullet until they took it on. So we just got involved. Everybody became volunteers then, really. We had no committee. We just all worked together since then.
And there'll be hundreds of hours that nobody will know anything about. And
Well, I
lots
don't
of
know
work.
about hundreds of hours, but there's a whole lot of work in the background. But it's well worth it because it's all just coming together very nicely today.
And the weather's good for us as well.
So far, please
So far,
God.
eh?
We have
Okay,
another
Bridget.
couple of hours.
We'll talk to you later
Thank
on.
you very much,
probably.
Francis.
All right, now.
Okay.
Hello, Bridge. How's it going?
Gran.
How are you? Here for the big event?
Just after making a Ben Reid house.
A Ben-Reid house?
Ben Reid house, yeah.
Where is it, Bridge?
So it's down in
Secret? It
the...
was always a secret route.
No, it's down where we're going this evening. But you don't, nobody is allowed to step over the walls.
Right.
You have to go in the door.
And this is a big door, Bridge.
It's big enough,
Can everybody-
Francis.
Can everybody get in the door? It wants to go in
Yes,
the
we'll make it bigger.
door.
if we
You're
have
living in
to.
Dublin now, Bridge.
Aye.
And you're number 40, Castle Park.
41.
41, Castle Park. And your mammy was Mary and your daddy was John. And your daddy was known as Johnny Money.
He was.
Aye, a character.
A rich man.
A rich man. Johnny Money, aye.
I'd see you
We'll
later.
talk to you later on.
Yeah.
All right. Hello, Eddie.
Francis.
How's it going?
It's going the best.
Eddie Grant, 22, Castle Park. When did you come to the park, Eddie? Roughly.
Roughly, what did I say when we come?
1950.
We're here.
something,
We
wasn't
must be. We're here now. Got 50 years.
50 years in the park.
Yeah,
So that'd have been around 1955.
around that.
Could I mind you
No,
coming?
sorry. Eddie wasn't born. No, I would have been 19, between 56 and 57. Ray was just
56.
born at the time.
Because I mind just
Yeah.
coming to the
You
park
would,
at the
you would,
time.
surely.
The more I wasn't very old.
No.
I'll say that. Right? Well, I was born 3 days before 1950 myself.
Yeah.
And you married Kathleen
Kathleen Doherty.
from
From Chrysler
Chrysler
Yeah.
Up Commander Burnfoot, wasn't it?
That's right.
And you were local to the town yourself?
I'm local to the town.
And you had a family of
I had a family of 6.
6. There was
Well, my own family. in
no, your
Power
own
Park.
family in the park here,
In the park.
children.
That's 6.
6
3
of a
boys and
family.
3 girls.
Well, I know there's 6. That's what was my own family. And I know at the time, 6 of a family is relatively small. At the time, because there's families in the park with 8 and 9 and 10 and one thing and another. But you're notoriety in lots of places and renowned in lots of places, from here to afar, for your good voice and your singing voice.
That's right.
And many a night I enjoyed. You're always very pleasant to listen to. And now, just on this big occasion and with a wee quietness here, maybe you'd want to sing us a wee song, would you?
Well, I'll give you a wee song, sure.
A wee song of your choice, whatever you want yourself. And we're not imposing you or anything, I don't think.
Now fare thee well, sweet Donegal, the roses and widowed. I'm crossing the main ocean, where the foaming billows roar. It breaks my heart for you to part, where I spent many happy days. Fare thee well to kind relations. I am bound for America. Now then, Mary, you're my heart's delight, my pride and only care. It was your cruel father who would not let me stay there. But absence makes the heart grow fond, and when I am over the main, may the Lord protect my darling girl till I return again. Oh, I wish I was in sweet Dunlow and seated on the grass, and by my side a bottle of wine, and on my knee a lass. I'd ask for liquor of the best, and I'd pay before I would go, and I'd roll my Mary in my arms in the town of sweet Dunlow.
Good man, Eddie. You've lost none of it. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Francis. Very nice you asked me.
You're going to the meal and you're going to the mass, you're going to the meal.
I am sure.
Well, I have a
help of
feeling
God.
I'll hear you before the night's
You
out
will
again.
surely. You'll
Okay,
hear
thank
me.
you very much.
And
Mean
thanks for asking me.
Thank you very much.
Great
Eddie.
man.
Your daddy was William Sheridan from Rathmullen.
That's correct.
Your mother was Ms. Maggie McCarran from the Lillys.
That's correct.
Wasn't it the Lillys you're from?
Originally
That's what I was
from
saying to
Lillys.
somebody else. You had Joe Murphy from Lisburn, Willie Sheridan from Rathmullen, Jim Crawford from Lifford. You had a great diversity of people living. That's only in our wee block
That's
alone.
right, in the 4 houses.
There's people from all over the place. And what's your fondest memories, Mary? Are they all happy memories when we were
very
young?
happy. Couldn't have been happier. Great childhood.
And everybody making their own fun.
Oh, definitely. Very, very happy.
Before TV.
It was
Mostly,
just, great, a very sheltered, good life.
And everybody was equal.
Oh, that's the main thing.
That was the main thing, and everybody felt that they were the
That
same.
most certainly.
Yeah, and everybody.
Oh, it was lovely.
It was great. And the big families, and everybody prayed together, and everybody helped
Prayed
one
and
another.
played.
Prayed and played. That's a good way of putting it.
That's right.
The two P's.
That's exactly right.
Or if you want to throw in, there's poverty times too, but it doesn't matter. People.
No, we don't remember those.
They prayed their way over it, and they prayed their way through it.
I don't remember the poverty times now, but a very happy child.
Somebody said this there just a minute ago. The old adage sort of seemed to stand that the people, family that prayed together stayed together.
Aye, oh, sure,
You know,
it's great.
and even if one strayed, you could always go back to where everybody had a value system.
Oh, definitely.
They knew where they were from, and
That's
they knew where they were
exactly
going.
right,
It was great. Well, good to see you, Mara. We'd like to see you at the Mass later on.
Thanks very
and down
much.
in the meal.
Well, surely.
We'll talk to you later. Okay.
Thank you.
Mara.
Nice to
Okay.
meet you. Bye-bye.
Bye now. Hello, Margaret. How's it going? Long time no see.
And you too,
Aye.
Francis.
Where
Been
you
some
living now,
years.
Margaret?
Living in Ballymena.
Up in Ballymena. Up
Ballymena,
with the
yeah.
big man.
Up with the big man himself.
He's behaving himself, has he?
Oh, very well at the minute, yes.
I saw him on television there. He's very cross looking, you know.
Oh, he's not so bad.
No,
his
he's all
bark's
right,
worse
I'd
than his
say.
bite, I think.
How long are you there, Margaret?
Now, let me see. I'm there 38 years
In Ballymena.
in Ballymena.
My
yeah.
goodness. That's a long time.
Isn't
You're out
it?
of the park that
I'm
length
out of
of
the
time.
park that
Aye.
length of time.
Your daddy was Danny Doherty, and your mother was Doherty as well.
She was Doherty, both Dohertys, yeah.
Up from the Lake
Bridget
Road.
Doherty and Danny Doherty, that's
Aye.
right.
Your mother's, what was the town land? It was over the Park Road a bit, wasn't
Over
it?
by,
It's just before you come to City College, wee shop there, wasn't
I've
it?
forgotten the name of it. Let's see. Connacht-Kenny-Go.
Connacht-Kenny-Go, that was it,
Yeah.
yes. Aye. A modest woman as well.
Oh, mommy.
Aye, a lovely woman, Mrs. Doherty. You wouldn't know
She
she's in the
certainly
park.
is,
Aye.
Francis,
She's
yeah.
in the park, what now?
56 years, isn't
yeah.
it? 56 years, I think
And
it
a
is.
smile and a low when she meets
Yes,
you. And that's all,
I know.
that's all I ever know is having a smile and a low.
Mommy's always been very quiet.
Then your sister Susan. Susan was my age.
Oh, was she
Aye,
your
and
age,
Susan, poor
Francis? Yeah.
Susan. She fought the good fight, but
She
lost
did.
it.
Lost the battle in the
Lost
end,
the
yeah.
battle in the end. Aye. But
She did.
and your daddy must be what, 80?
Daddy will be 88 at the end of this year.
Very good.
Mommy will be 85 at the end of the year.
There you are.
So both are
Wonderful age.
Oh, they are.
And still out and about the two
Still
of
out
them.
and about
I saw
the
your
pair of
daddy up
them,
the
yeah.
town today, actually.
Yeah.
And your mammy still has a smile and a low.
Ah, you know, she's
And there was
they're
many
a
in your
lovely couple.
many was in your family, Margaret.
7.
Seven.
Uh-huh.
And Tony
seven
was the
total.
oldest.
Tony's the oldest, I'm next.
And then
Kathleen, Patrick, then Susan, of course,
Yes.
Bridie and Jack.
There you are. Now.
For practice, I hope now.
Well, I'll tell you what
this
everybody
is not
says.
for real.
I'll tell you what everybody. There's no change on you.
Oh, no, Fran.
Hey? No, you're looking very well.
Thank you very
It's
much.
good to see you. Okay.
Thanks.
Probably see you later
See you
on,
later
Margaret.
on,
Okay.
okay.
Thank you. Hello, Dennis.
Hello,
How's it going?
Great. How do you think it is now?
Great, Dennis. Great to see you. And a lovely evening for it. There's going to be a big crowd, apparently.
I think so, yeah.
You're a Cork man yourself, Dennis.
That's right, that's
You
right.
came here with the army.
Oh, that's right.
What year was that, Dennis? Or
41.
1941.
Aye.
64 years ago. That's a long time.
That's a long time.
And you married Philomena McGlinchey
That's true, that's true.
from Plantation House
Yeah, yeah.
out of Tullyarvin.
That's out of Tce.Reunion.
There you are. And you had, was it 5 of a family or 6, Dennis? And you're number 46.
That's right, yeah.
46 Castle Park. And what about your fondest memories of the park, Dennis? I suppose
Good neighbours, that's
good
the main
neighbours
thing.
was the main
Good
thing,
neighbours,
wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. And everybody made their own fun and everybody was
Aye.
equal.
That's right, that's right.
Yeah. And would you still relations in Cork, Dennis, would you?
Oh, God,
Aye.
plenty.
You'll never go back now, as they say.
Oh, I do.
Oh, you still go down, Dennis?
I go down. There's
Great
no
stuff.
place to share.
Good man yourself. There you are now.
I have that wee book for you now.
There you are. There's
That's all now.
okay, Dennis. All right now. Thanks, and we'll see you later on, sure. Okay. Hello, Eamon.
How's things, Francis?
You're looking like chief technician here.
No, well,
Hey?
Annette's the chief technician. I'm
And
just
that's
helping her.
chief. Huh?
She did all the organising of the
Very
choir.
good, very
She got them
good.
all together. I think I
Right.
was just at one practice because I was busy.
Right.
But I volunteered to come here early this evening and get a bit of work done in time.
Yeah. Good.
But
Good stuff.
Annette's the
Annette
full
Fried
charge.
from number. What number are you in, Annette? 15 Castle Park.
Annette McNeilis now.
Annette McNeil is
Aye.
You're,
Longer in McNeilis now, I think.
is that right?
But always been that free.
Always Annette Fried. No, always from Castle Park.
Never fear. Fields here.
Yeah. You're the first person from St.Egney Stairs we've talked to him. And,
Am I the first?
it's from St.Egney Stairs.
You should have up to the Nazareth House in Fawn. Got George Doherty then.
Aye.
Not
Your,
for number 1.
your father was Jack Cutcliffe,
Jack Cutcliffe the barber.
and your mother was.
Bridget.
Her maid, what was your mother's
McLaughlin.
maid? From. She was from Buncrana.
Buncrana, aye, Buncrana.
And your father was Buncrana.
Buncrana.
And he was a barber in Buncrana for 60-something years, I would say.
I believe it or believe it not, he cut your father's hair, God rest him, the night before he was married in Strabane.
That's right.
And he cut his hair all his life there in Buncrana.
That's right. He cut my father's hair for over 60 years. My father is a trainee barber in Strabane. My father's from up near Dufford. And my father's young fella used to go and get his hair cut, and your daddy cut it. And then when my father came to live in Buncrana, his father cut it on up until both of them parted the ways, you know. So that's a long time, I mean.
It's a long time.
And your father was happy doing what he did?
He did. He was barbering from he was 12 years of age in short trousers. He always told me that. He started off in short trousers and he stopped when he was 90. So that's a fair...
That's 78 years.
That's right, 78 years.
That's a long time.
There's not many people about that trade.
And never took arthritis in the fingers or anything?
No.
Never did the hand any harm?
He had brilliant hands and arms and great eyesight. He had actually better eyesight than I ever had.
Yes.
My father could read the paper now when he was about 90.
Yes.
No glasses required. Sit down and read.
Great stuff. It was always a cheery enough disposition, wasn't he?
It was.
He was a big man for football.
Great under the football. He was in the Buncrana Football Committee. That started in 1944. I think my father joined it shortly afterwards. I was there all his life. Him and my uncle Jim and his uncle George Cutler, always involved in the football.
Was Dick Cutler in it as well for a while?
Dick was no, he wasn't involved. He wasn't involved in the band football. He was in the band business.
Ah, right.
He was a drummer.
Music business.
He was a drummer.
There's a good bit of music in the Cutler family, even the extended family, the cousins and that.
That's
There's
right.
music as well.
All Paddy Cutler's family in Derry, the flute and the organ. And my Aunt Sadie was a great pianist. She played with. She was one of the founder members, I think, of the Mighty Rhythm Boys, maybe.
Good.
She was in the Mighty Rhythm Boys.
And your father moved into the St.Egney Stairs when it was built?
I think shortly afterwards. I'm not just sure now what year he moved in there at.
Where's the name Cutler from originally? I mean,
nobody really knows. I think my cousin Edith Cutler was trying to check it out. Some people used to think it might have been Spanish. They come in the Spanish Armada. I don't really know.
Or maybe the Huguenots in France or something.
Maybe I
thought I heard somebody saying that one time.
I'm not really sure where it.
Yeah. But it's an unusual name around here, isn't it?
Oh, nearly all the Cutloffs around here would be all related.
Even the ones from Letterkenny and Rathmullen, they're the same Cutloff, are they?
Cutloff from Kerrykill, the Cutloffs of Kerrykill, that was an uncle, my father's, and his son had a business in Letterkenny. Matt Cutloff, that was a son of his.
That's right.
And now his son has got a business in Letterkenny and he's coming to Buncrana. Estate agent, that's right.
I saw that.
Aye.
That's a good bit of history. It's good talking to you anyway, man.
That was great.
Okay, thank you now.
Thanks, Francis.
And beside him in here we have Annette McNeilis, or Annette Friedel. Her daddy was Sean Friedel. Daddy was Sean Friedel from 15 Castle Park. And your mother was Quinn?
Angela Quinn.
Angela Quinn.
Yeah.
And I would vaguely remember your granny and granda in the house in Castle Park.
It would have been my granny.
Your granny,
It would have been my granny. No, not my granda.
Your granny, I would imagine, going by my memories, must have died.
She died, I think she died in the late 50s.
Or something like that.
That's right.
Because I mind the wake been on, we live in the same row.
Right, yeah.
And you're now Mrs. McNeilis.
I'm now Mrs. McNeilis. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, it has to be good because...
Good for Mr. McNeilis.
Good for Mr. It has to be good because it didn't take away your pleasant smile.
No, thanks very much.
Somebody told me one time flattery gets me everywhere.
Oh, there you go. Maybe they're right.
I believe them. Okay. We'll talk to you later on, perhaps.
Right, thanks, Francis.
Aye.
We were just saying today, if the bottom of the park the stones could talk, they'd tell many a story.
Yeah, especially the wee trees down there.
The wee trees had many a story to tell.
Well, I can tell you there's a lot of people glad the wee trees can't
Well,
talk.
that's true. I think us included, Francis.
Especially yourself. Aye.
I think us included. There'd be quite a story come out of the wee trees.
But at the same time, comparing to things now, Betty, it's all fairly innocent.
Oh, it was innocent stuff. Surely. It was great crack. I always remember, this wall and patch obviously has all changed, never were wins. But I always remember, when you're about, and I suppose we shouldn't be saying this, about 12 or 13, when you were stealing a cigarette,
That's right.
And I remember, God rest my mother, came down and shouted, "I was sitting underneath that wall over there, whole teenagers." Yeah. And we were all smoking, and Mammy was shouting, "Betty," at the top of her voice, and I was sitting down underneath with a mouthful of smoke on my mouth. And everybody's going, shh, And I think your mother came out there and she was shouting for you, and they couldn't get you either. And your mother said, "Oh, she's missing and he's missing, they're not up to no good."
No, that's right. Well, my mother always maintained, I think your mother's the same, if they weren't within hearing distance, they were up to no good. The wee boy passed a man one time, the wee boy's running, the man hit him, the boy says, what did you hit him for? He says, "I don't know what I hit him for." He says, "They're going from doing no good." or he's coming from doing no good.
One or the other.
Aye, one or the other.
It's like my mother's way, you know, whenever we were young and you used to get a clip across here, you know, and if you weren't guilty, my mother would have said, she'll do you the next time. But unfortunately, it never did. You got the clip the next time as well.
She's always one ahead.
We were chatting to the other night about your house and our house. We used to have a knocking on stuff. Do you remember, Francis?
Yeah, yeah.
And
more Gareth thing, I was trying to analyse it, deciphering.
We blamed you all the time. We never would have done it.
When they clip across you,
then
we
the
got for knocking.
come up then for the knocking and stop that and go to sleep.
That's right. Crawfords, we blamed you.
We blamed you for quite a lot. We'll confess now, Francis, we blamed you for quite a lot.
There's nobody to scold anymore. That's the sad thing about it.
That's right.
Well, anyway, I never said anything for posterity. Anyway, Betty Sheridan from 26 Castle Park. Now Betty Feeney and Brady Ryan, 26 Castle Park. Brady Sheridan, now Brady Ryan. And both of them moved to Derry, which lots of Buncrana people did, and there'll be a very big connection between Castle Park and Derry. Lots of houses with a family there, extended family and one thing and another.
A lot, on
this side. There's him in Cutlock when he plays a wee bit of
I'm just glad you said, Francis, I
there's
moved
the man
back.
there, look, he works for the Red Cross. This man here, but this is as near as you could get to a stretcher. But anyway, what are you going to say?
I'm glad to say I moved back.
You brought up at Lisfannon.
We did, aye.
Delighted. That's lovely up there.
That's grand.
You're no connection up there at all now?
Well, I work. Have to earn me crust.
I see you on TV there, in the papers and that.
You have to do something for a living, Francis.
Anybody say to me, anybody see Betty Sheridan, little less, but just buy the journal on a Friday there, you know. All right.
We'll chat to you later.
I'll talk to you later on now. Okay, right now, bye. This is the famous big field in front of Castle Park, where everything happened, really. The lots of changes on it now. It's been updated to 205 standards for football and still used a terrible lot for all kinds of sports. And the schools now would be involved and the youth club and everything like that. But when we were young, it was just, there's a big pitch and the wee pitch, and people just came down and played. And further down at the bottom of the field was what's known as the wee threes. You can see the tops of them down there yet. And lots of things happened in the wee threes, especially when everybody headed into their early teens. There was chasing and tig, and all someone would have to do really, there's funds and all down there as well, would be to light a fire. If he was out and there was nobody about, he could light a fire, and then somebody else would appear, and somebody else would appear. And no time at all, you could have had 20 or 30 children down the field. And beyond the field then is Doherty's Castle, and beyond the field then is Doherty's Castle and Doherty's Keep, and that's where Castle Park gets its name from, is Castle Park.
There, Francis, how are you?
How's it going?
Not
You're
so bad.
25 Castle Park.
25 Castle Park,
Aye.
that's right.
And your mother?
I'm proud of it.
Aye. And you, well, never met a Castle Park person yet that was. Your mother, your father was Mickey Doherty, and your mother was Bridget Doherty, and your mother wasn't from Buncrana. Gortahork.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying to somebody earlier on. And our block alone, Joe Murphy is from Lisburn. Jim Crawford was from near Lifford.
That's right.
Wally Sheridan was Rathmullen.
That's right.
And your mother was Gortahork. And there's great diversity.
Well spread out.
And well spread out. And beside you here now, we have a man relatively new to Castle Park. You're
George Coyle.
George Coyle from Derry.
We're from Derry.
And
Eileen
Coyle, George's wife. Or
Yes.
George,
You got it right
Eileen's
first go.
husband. But how long are you here, George?
Oh, we're here about 10 years.
10 years.
12. I guess.
93.
Aye, and how did you find the park moving into it?
Oh, very
How did you find the people? Very friendly?
Very friendly,
Yeah,
yes.
that's the general consensus.
Yes.
Always, everybody was good neighbours. And you'd find the same, George?
We found the same thing. We've always had a sort of a relationship with people in Buncrana.
Yes.
We were from Derry originally. We spent 30 years in Belfast.
Right.
Through thick and thin.
Yes.
We retired
Through
and
the height of the
finished.
troubles.
And we finished up here, and we really couldn't have picked a better spot to come.
Good, that's great to hear. No regrets at all.
No regrets at all.
That's great. And your father, Shim, has worked with the council?
He worked with the council for 30, 40 years nearly, I think.
It was one of the things was Mickey's lorry parked at the
That's
end of the
right,
road
that
there.
was a main...
It was a wee Bedford, wasn't it? And
That was a spot. There was slaying that time. He moved the lorry and wouldn't put sand on the
I wouldn't
drive.
put sand in the road.
So the
He
youngsters
could've-
wouldn't be...
He could have had
spoiled
sand
their
on the
run.
lorry where he'd been out sand
Aye.
the road.
Oh, right,
If
right,
we were
sure.
slaying, he wouldn't have put
He wouldn't
sand
touch it,
on
he
the
wouldn't
road,
touch
you
us.
know,
Ah, right.
so that we could slay.
Slay down here.
Slay down here, and there's an opening in the field, you could go on down the field.
Yeah.
You could have had 100 people over the road slaying, you know.
Great.
It was a great time. But there was no television at the time, or if there was, there came a few about the park. But your own fun was the main thing. It wasn't television.
The first television was Wooly Gills in Castle Park.
Yeah.
Wooly
Somebody
Gill.
says McGee's and somebody else says
Wooly
different,
Gill. The first two televisions in the town was Wooly Gill and Excelsior, and the two of them got the tellies in the one place at the same time.
Yeah. There'll be lots of reminiscences, and we're massively starting in half an hour, and then we're all going for the meal. So perhaps we'll talk to you all later on again anyway, sure.
Yeah, that's
okay.
very good. Very
all right,
good.
thank
very
you
good.
now.
Right.
Thank you. Hello, Martin.
Hello, Francis.
Hello,
how are
mate.
you?
How are you
Hello,
doing?
Francis.
I think you have the distinction of being the only two people from Castle Park that married one another.
That's correct.
I
Well,
don't-
as far as we know, anyway.
Aye.
As far as
Far
we
as
can
we
remember,
know.
anyway.
I don't know of anybody else, but your brother Liam married Kathleen Barber from St.Egney Terrace.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So he's really homeboards, the McLaughlins and the Bradleys.
You could say that, okay.
You were from number what, Maeve?
Number 9.
Number 9, and you were...
Number 32.
God, it was close.
There's a distance in numbers, but very close in proximity.
Ah, you're in the row opposite,
Just opposite row.
Was it love at first sight, would you say, Maeve? Or what? There's no harm to ask what age were you getting? What did you get married at?
I was 27. No, I was 26.
And were you watching Maeve since you were 20 and married? Were you watching?
Don't know. Fell in the gate one night and wasn't allowed out again.
Maeve lifted you up. But
Yeah, actually, first night he asked me out was to go to McCarthy's dinner dance.
Which? McCarthy's?
First night he asked me out was McCarthy's to ask him to come.
It's 30 years ago near enough now. We're married 28 years now anyway.
So it took off from there then, Francis.
Your family's all big?
Family's all up now, and the youngest is 16.
Yeah. And you're living out now at Leslie Kelly?
We're in Leslie Kelly now for 12 years, yeah.
That's good. Lovely up there.
Lovely, yeah.
You're actually looking down in the park.
We actually see everything that's going on. We're looking down. My mum and dad's there. We can tell them what time they're going to bed and what time they get up.
That's very good. And your mum and dad's keeping well?
Keeping right. They celebrated the 60th wedding anniversary yesterday, and they're due here this evening, I believe. 60 years
coming here.
Well, we hope so, yeah.
And that's Paddy McLaughlin and
Sis, yeah.
Sis McLaughlin of 32 Castle Park. And married 60 years at the weekend. 60
years of Sunday past there.
A lot of cars. That's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, lovely. We had a great evening.
It's not happening too many.
No, we had a big gang there of children, grandchildren.
Yeah, there seem to be a lot of people about on Sunday. There's a lot of marriages now in their 60 days.
Well,
the odd one 60 hours, but anyway, things have changed a lot. What would be your fondest memories of the park, would you say, Martin?
Well, my fondest memories is down here now. The pitches are much better now than what they were then, but maybe 30 or 40 of us down here playing football on a small pitch here and trying to get the ball off Noel McFadden.
Noel was the man.
Noel was the man, yeah.
Noel was good.
Noel was the man. I think that was the highlight of all the boys in the park nearly. We spent most of our time down here.
I was talking about that earlier in the field, the big field.
The big field in Ned's Point.
There's no worries then, I was saying earlier, there's no worries then of your child going missing or anything.
Not at all, not at all.
It wasn't on the agenda at all. Everybody was safe.
Within a roar of the house.
And if you weren't within the roar in the house, you should have been.
You should have been. That's for sure.
What would be your fondest?
My fondest memories now would be the rounders on the middle of the thoroughway there, which you couldn't play now because of the traffic.
That's right.
But at that time, it sort of was a very competitive game, Francis.
It was, and it was very good.
And very good.
And very healthy.
And it was only the best that would be able to join.
You remember cut the cabbage?
I do, of course. I
one
do.
went one way and the other went the other.
Of course.
The first back.
Yes.
Hey, I don't think I could manage that now. Anyway, it was great.
It was a great place to grow up in Castle Park, and we have great fun, great memories of it.
After 50-some years, as I say, you're the only two that married one another from
the park. Yes.
Needless to say, we'll see you later on, or during the mass. We'll see you in the function. We'll talk to you later on.
Lovely.
Okay.
Lovely speaking to you.
Thanks,
Bye now.
Thank you.
How you going, John?
What's about yourself?
You well?
You know, well. I'm as well as can be.
You're holding on.
Aye.
That's the say around here, you're holding on. How's things, John?
I hope to go to the 100 anyways.
Hey?
I hope to go to the 100 anyways.
Well, you're looking pretty fresh, John.
No, not so bad. Not so bad.
Have you actually on a video of
Have you? Please. That's a good while ago. Oh, me and the dog's taking out me. Darky man and all kids of men.
Right.
Weddings and whatnot. Aye.
You're in the park a good while, John.
Oh, we're 53 years here.
53 years.
Aye.
It's a long time. I was talking to Mrs. McGowan earlier on.
Aye.
Don't call her Mrs. McGowan, she's a Millie. Hey? It's a great occasion, isn't it?
It's a great time.
Great to see everybody here.
Great all together, sure to God. Great to see the band and all there.
Band, a good evening for it.
That's right. Enjoy yourself.
We'll talk later on.
You have a big night tonight.
Hey?
You have a big night tonight.
We'll see you down below, maybe. You go down now.
Might struggle down. See what comes.
Okay.
Aye.
How you doing, Miss Fletcher?
Couldn't be better.
No, as well you're looking.
I got a bit of surgery done on my face, but I had to come. And I couldn't miss this.
It's not nice going there, but it's good to have them to go there when you need them.
It's good to have them to go, as you say.
You're still on the road every morning heading around the mass, aren't you?
Yes, fairly often as best we can.
Well, now, there's not many going around the road as often as you do, the 10 o'clock mass or whatever.
Oh, well, take
You're an inspiration. When now faith wanes, I always think of Mrs. Fletcher.
Takes us out a wee while, Francis.
Hey?
It takes us out of the house.
Aye.
You know.
As Fowler Bradley says to her one time, she says, why did you not take me instead of somebody else? I won't mention names now. And he says, well, Mrs. Fletcher, do you want me to tell you? And she says, you tell me. And he says, because you're left and as an example to each and every one of us.
Oh, she's an example to the town, anyway, now, because
oh, God help us. God love that.
there every morning.
God love that, St. Francis.
Hey?
I don't know much.
It's very good and it's great to see you, and you're on the road there.
Well, we do our best here.
It's a great occasion, Miss Fletcher. It's a great occasion.
It's lovely,
and a lovely evening for it.
It's beautiful.
Aye.
We're 56 years in here.
56 years in the park. You were number
43.
43, yeah.
Yes.
56 years, a long time.
A long time.
Aye.
We came in 1949.
I was born here 20th of December 49 myself.
There you go.
The Feast of Holy Innocents. I was born in Innocent. Still innocent. We'll move along here and we'll talk to you later, Miss Fletcher.
That's grand.
Okay.
Right, thank you.
How are you doing, Danny?
Not so bad.
Miss Doherty, how are you?
Doing fine, thank you.
Good.
Very much.
Well, you're looking, the two of you.
I don't know what
you.
to do. Well, look.
After all these years.
After all these years,
God bless.
How long are you in the park?
Since
56 years.
56 we came on the second lot.
And June the
First row was built in the second.
June the 13th
June the 13th.
I was born here in 1949 myself.
Very good.
55 years ago.
Very good.
56 now in December.
Very good.
That's right. And Susan was born in 50. We were very close.
Susan and me were the same age.
Yes, that's right.
You lost Susan as well.
Aye,
Susan. A big cross, Miss Doherty.
It was
It was
indeed.
a big cross to carry.
See, that's life.
Yeah.
That's life.
You're from Connacht-Kenny-Go yourself.
Can I go?
Aye.
Indeed, I am.
He wondered how I knew that.
I wonder.
We're talking to Margaret earlier on.
That's right.
Both of you are looking very well now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lovely evening for
It's
this.
lovely.
Thank God.
Well.
Somebody was praying.
There's lots of people up there.
There is belonging to us.
We may talk to you later on, so we're just moving around here.
We're going to dance for the way.
Okay.
Good luck to you.
Good luck.
Okay.
Thank you very much.